that is the only person below White Holiday in the Comicsgate phone book. It's my favorite failed clone of Peter Sammetti. The YouTube WyzGyz. How you doing, Conrad? Welcome to the show.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to WyzGyzEntertainment. This is your host, Wyman. We are joined today by a very special guest, Charlie's I'm sorry. Oh, man. I don't know what it is about this street, but people like to, whole butt in these really loud motorcycles and cars for some reason. Oh, my gosh. That was goofy. Once again, hello, hello, hello. Welcome to WyzGyz Entertainment. This is your host, Wyman. We're joined by our wonderful guest, Charlie's London.
Hello, how are you doing?
Good. Welcome. Not my monkeys, not my circus. Back, Charlie's here. Right on. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, not my monkey, not my circus. He's one of our regulars on in the CG UK stream, so he's a good one. So welcome. Yeah, it's don't worry. That's what always happens to me as well. Like I'll start talking, a motorbike will go past. The amount of times I've gone to make little videos and then that happens, you wouldn't even believe it. And then you have to start all over again. It's annoying. So yeah.
I'm so drunk, but we'll do my best. Even so, I'm here on time. Right on. At last, for F's sake. I know. It was my fault. I was chatting away. It had been quite a while, so I was trying to catch up with Charlie's.
Yeah, we were having a bit of a natter. I think he's saying there's an echo. I've just tried muting myself just to see if it'll go away. So hopefully we're good now. He'll have to let us know.
Yeah, let us know if it's Charlie's who's echoing or me or both of us.
So yeah, but it's good. It's good to be here chatting to you again. So yeah, I mean, anything you want to ask me, it's totally cool. We can chat for as long as you need to.
All right, right on. It's been too long. Haven't seen each other in ages.
No, well, I've obviously commented on your any tweets and that you put out and dropped into the chat a couple of times and whatnot. But as we were saying backstage, it's just the time difference with a lot of these things. So I was sitting down thinking about this the other day, and I'm thinking I'm going to start doing some videos, a few more videos, like 2 or 3 videos a week while I'm on the holidays from school, and hopefully stream at least once a week because I've got the time a bit more now. But I think the videos will be good because I can premiere them later on. So any of the, our American CG family will be able to see them, and I don't feel I'm so time restricted. But the live streams will be sort of maybe 5-6 o'clock our time. So they're more like, I don't know, morning shows for you guys. I know that a couple of times I've gone on Grady Point 5 have brought their morning show back, like Xavier and Optimus, Deadpool, and I've popped on there a couple of times. When, funny enough, the last time I did was when they did when I was on the last holiday. Hey, let me just I'll drop out and come back in again. Maybe that'll solve the echo because I think is it me or is it WyzGyz? Not my monkey, not my circus. Let us know because normally when one drops out, comes back in, it normally works.
I can still hear it because you sound fine by me.
And you sound fine by me, so that's why I'm not sure. I can't hear anything, but I think if I can't hear it, it normally means it is me. So, not sure.
I don't know. Maybe there's a weird effect because I have a modified setup. Usually, I'm using my desktop tower computer, and but it's down right now. I'm trying to troubleshoot it. So in the meantime, I'm using a laptop, but I have it connected to an external monitor. It shouldn't. Oh, you know what? Hold on. Let me turn off the external speak. Well, that shouldn't affect it because the external speakers are plugged into my tower, not to my laptop. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Know. You never know with these things.
I'm not sure what's causing it. That's curious.
Hmm.
All right, because you already. Oh, that was backstage when you logged out, logged back in, right?
Yeah, so I don't think that's gonna. Let me try again. I'll be right back. I'll click on the same link. Give me a sec.
All right. She'll be back momentarily. Yeah, so if you haven't had a chance, please back Charlie's London's new book. It's really bad, chaps. Now, let's see. So am I echoing or was Charlie's echoing?
I am back.
Okay. Wait, say something else?
Hello. I don't think it's me.
Okay. I mean, I think you're sounding better.
Oh.
I'm not exactly sure. But Not My Monkeys was saying it was really bad.
Yeah, it's really bad, chaps, is what he said. So hopefully it might have actually sorted itself out. But anyway, until he writes in the chat again, let's keep talking. Hopefully it might work itself out. So,
go ahead.
What would you like to talk to me about, sir?
Well, actually, since it has been quite some time since we last chatted, I was wondering if you wouldn't mind kind of giving us your origin story. Basically, what kind of things were you interested in growing up? Were you into books, comics, cartoons, toys, movies, and what kind? And then what were the major milestones through your what were the major what were the major milestones in your life that led you down this path to becoming an independent creator? Before you answer that, though, I'm saying it might be me, so I'm going to try refreshing my browser.
Okay, cool.
See if that makes a difference. If it doesn't make a difference, then I might have to disconnect my external monitor and just use my laptop built in. Let me refresh the screen. I will disappear momentarily.
Hopefully we will be able to sort it out. I'll just start answering your question that you gave to me. So growing up, I was probably more of a tomboy than any. Well, I say tomboy. I was always quite girly, but I found girls' toys and girls' programs quite boring. And I think that yeah, I was just saying that when I was growing up, I found girls' toys and things and girls' TV shows quite boring. I didn't really think they were as entertaining as the boys' stuff. So growing up, I loved things like He-Man and Thundercats and the Turtles and the X-Men and things like that. I grew up watching and toys. I mean, I didn't have like Barbie dolls and that till I was about 10 years of age, and that was pretty much peer pressure because all the girls around me, they all played with them, and it was just a case of, oh, I've got to get a Barbie if I want to, have somewhere to go, something to do on a Saturday morning while my mum was cleaning the house. So it was just a case of I, got into all of that sort of stuff. And comics, it was pretty much there was a lot of Spider-Man, there was a lot of X-Men. I remember growing up reading a lot of them. Weirdly, I read a lot of like Danger Mouse comics. And
oh my gosh, Danger Mouse.
Yeah, Danger Mouse comics. I wasn't even say to you massively the comics and things like the Beano and Dandy, which were very British comics. I read a lot of, and yeah, I just felt really like the girls. The only thing I really liked that was girly was Gem and the Holograms.
Oh, right.
Yeah, that was about. I think thinking back on it, I mean, a lot of the cartoons and stuff we watched were things like I don't know if you guys had it over there, Dog Tanyan and the Three Musker Hounds, and
I don't recognize that one.
Look, yeah, Phileas Fogg and 80 Days Around the World. But there's a cartoon form and they were all animals played. So Phileas Fogg was played by a lion, And it was cartoons like that, very European. I think, in fact, D'Artagnan and the Three Muskehounds and Phileas Fogg, I think they were actually French cartoons. Funnily enough, yeah, I think they were French cartoons.
We did used to get Danger Mouse as a cartoon, though.
Oh yeah, Danger Mouse. Count Duckula was the other one.
Yes.
Yeah, Count Duckula. I mean, they were all big, massive favourites. Right, obviously things like, you got Wallace and Gromit, and before Wallace and Gromit, you had Morph. Which
I love them.
All very, very British things. But this is the stuff I grew up with, and I think getting into the creator side of it was it's strange because I didn't really stop and go, oh my God, I'm CG. Like it wasn't really how it happened. It was a case of I didn't read comics for a long, long time. I sort of, grew up, went to uni and all that stuff and sort of didn't really have time for them. But then I dipped in and out every now and then and was like, I really don't, nothing's really grabbing me. I mean, I think the last really good thing that I read from Marvel was I liked The Fall of the House of M and I liked the Civil War. And there was another one called, I think it was Marvel Through the Lens. I think it was Marvel. I'll have to remember the title. But it was basically what I really liked about it. It was that it was the story of all the devastation and destruction all the superheroes put the places they're in through the eye of the ordinary person. So it was all done through the eyes of a photographer taking pictures of these characters. That was kind of the last thing I read from Marvel and DC before I kind of went, nah, I'm a bit bored of this. And then I got very much into The Walking Dead. And The Walking Dead was probably the thing that brought me back to comics. But I just noticed that apart from The Walking Dead, everything felt really crap. I mean, like, I think actually, no, I lied. The last thing that I actually read from DC before I was like, I went off and did a lot of other stuff was Ethan's Green Lantern. And that was how, when I saw his art and his stuff in CG, when Jan started getting into CG, that was one of the things that made me go, oh my God, like I grew up really, like, I loved reading these comics. And I think that was probably the last thing that I actually read, and before I got into the Walking Dead comics. And I just thought that they were the best ones. They were some of the best written books that was currently out. And it was nothing like the other comics that were out. But pretty much apart from that, everything else, nothing grabbed me. And we went into a comic shop in London, and all it was Funkos. Like, I never forget, we found more interesting things at a comic mart that had all back issues of stuff than we found at a comic shop that was meant to be selling the latest stuff. And then we were sat in a coffee shop and we were just talking about it. And Jan said, he went, I've been following something called Comicsgate on Twitter. I was like, what's that? And then he started telling me about it. I was like, that's exactly how I'm feeling about the way that the industry's going. And then he was like showing me like some tweets, and he was showing me. So I was like, this is exactly. And then when I saw the people that were liking and tweeting it and like and retweeting it and stuff, like I said about Ethan, and and then we started watching your boy Zach's videos. I was like, oh my God, like this is like this. There's a community out there feeling exactly the same way I am, and I just started, retweeting and getting involved and talking to people and arguing with the typical sort of people that sadly we're still arguing with and all that sort of thing. And then I think the rest is history. I mean, I always had this idea that I wanted to do a book, and I've always from a very young age loved Charlie Chaplin and stuff that I've done a lot of research of him with, and the idea to turn it into a comic just started burning more and more and more. And I never forget, I was one of the very first live streams I ever watched with Ethan, and I sent a super chat asking him a question, and I said, what would you do if somebody how would you recommend somebody go about making a comic book about, I think I said about Charlie Chaplin or about an IP or about something. And he said, his exact words were, get permission and get a license, right? So because I'd been working with the Chaplin family for different things over the years, I was like, right, I'm going to do that. So I went and I asked them about getting making this into a comic and all sorts of things. And they really, really liked the idea. And originally, I was like, I had an idea of one particular artist, but then Cole Stefan, who creates Mary Boys, he oh well, so no one was echoing. He had 2 tabs open. Oh God, that's the best thing ever.
Busted.
Right, this dude's been telling me to stream for ages. Keeps complaining I don't stream, and then when I stream, he nearly ruins my stream. I love you, not my monkey, not my circus. That's really made me laugh. Yeah, so I was saying, so I basically I said to them about this idea for a comic, and they really, really loved the idea, and they gave me the license, and the rest is history. The first book did phenomenally well. This one's on course to do just as well. It's had a bit of a slower start, but I put that down to a couple of things. The first thing is that, honest to God, I just don't think people have got the money at the moment in a lot of respects. I think that, we're going through a worldwide epidemic with financially anyway. We're still not really recovered from the pandemic. And I think people have just been a little bit shrewder with their money, which is totally fine. I also think that there's a couple of other things I think have been taken into account. As I launched this book, loads of stuff went on, work-wise, personal-wise. I wasn't out there streaming as much, and I was really out there streaming on the first one. So I think people have I've not been as visible, which is what had a bit of an impact. But I think also the other thing, because I had so much positive reviews about the first one, I think it's because I've been much more realistic this time, and I've actually put a longer fulfillment date, because I ended up being late on the last one, and I desperately didn't want it to happen this time. I think I went, I'm going to give myself extra time to the plan that then I'll fulfill early. So I think because people are seeing that it's not going to be fulfilling till this time next year, they're prioritizing the books that have got, limited edition covers and things that are only available for the 30 days of campaigns and whatnot. Sure. And I know this to be true because I've had so many people DM me going, I really want to back you, Charlie's, but I can't back you yet because of X, Y, and Z. And my reply is always the same. You don't have to worry about any of that. A retweet is fine. Like, I totally understand what the situation is. And I've always said the same thing as well. This book is a passion project to me. I'm just so privileged to see it there. As even if I only get enough to fulfill it and print it, and it's just, the campaign is out there, I don't care. Like, this is not about, I know I'm never going to make my millions in comics, and I know I'm never going to be able to leave my day job and go into comics. I know that. So the fact that CG has even given me the opportunity to make this to make it real, to have it in my hands, because that's what crowdfunding is all about. Like, people get a bit confused. I don't know if it's intentional or maybe it's just how people see it from the outside, but crowdfunding, the profit should only ever come from crowdfunding when you have fulfilled your very last book, and anything that is left in the bank is yours, right? It's not, this is about creating dreams. It's not about creating, it's not free money. And I think this is where a lot of people have, screwed up with campaigns in the past. They've thought they've seen that money sitting there and not realized that until you fulfill that last book, that's not yours, and I think that this is 100% a big thing, that when people say, oh, you should have the book done before you launch, or unless you can afford to have paid your artist up front, or unless you are the artist and you can very easily just, you've made that book on the side and you're gonna, the money that people are backing is literally going to be to print it, ship it, and then you'll pay yourself a wage at the end. Crowdfunding is not money. It's not easy money. And I think that this is where there's a lot of talk that this gets confused in them and lost in the ether, I think, a little bit. But my main priority has always been my backers, and my main priority will continue to be my backers. And as long as they get their books, I think for myself, in my hands, I've got maybe I've got one copy of each cover, which is mine. Like I haven't got I'm not sitting here swimming in like loads of books. As far as I'm concerned, I've seen it. It's in my hands. I've got copies that I'll be able to take to people and show them, because I've got a lot of things. I've got a lot of irons in the fire for book one of things that are going to happen. So I have to show people prototypes of book one. But other than that, I definitely think there is a little bit of confusion that, unless you're people that have brought out 3 or 4 or 3, 4, 5 books, you've got a great history of fulfilling, or you've got a big name behind you or a big platform behind you. It's very hard to be able to say, okay, I'm going to give up everything now. And, the one success story that I always think about that did say, I can quit my day job and do this is Narwhal, because Narwhal was working in a job that he hated, and he brought out his books and he loved what he was doing. And, that was probably one of the happiest tweets I've ever seen him send, when he went, now I can quit my day job, and that's an incredible thing to be able to say that you can do. I mean, to be honest with you, I wouldn't actually like to quit my day job. I quite like my day job, and my day job and my comic collide a lot of the time, because when we had so many issues, the book one, when you order as many as we had to, and any creator will tell you exactly the same story. There'll always be a couple in the boxes that will be slightly damaged. They're not damaged. They are not damaged in you could still probably buy a copy of that in a bookshop looking like that and no one would complain. But for a comic collector, something that's bagged and boarded, even if it was the tiniest nick in a corner, I was like, no, that's not good enough to send to my backers. So I had in total I've lost count, but I think it's somewhere between about 200 and 300 books that I wasn't prepared to send to my backers because they were slight imperfections. So I did things like I sent them to local schools. I gave easy 100 copies away at my school. There's copies of my book in the library at school.
Nice.
Yeah, I made sure I did that. I gave ones to families and friends. I gave reader copies to some people that I know wanted to review it. So I was very, I got it out there for people to see. I did keep a couple to one side, like I said, for myself. But to be able to see them in kids' hands, that's why I say my day job and this collided, because when I would walk past the library and I see them on the shelves, it's as nice a feeling as seeing that tweet you get when someone's books drop to their house, because you appreciate when people love it. I love, and Not My Monkeys on My Circus said, Charlie's, I disagree. Your comics are top quality. Give it time. This could be. Do you know what? If it becomes something that ends up being my sideline, or what should I say, my nest egg for my retirement, I would be very happy. But my point is that I never went into crowdfunding thinking this was going to make me my millions. I wanted to get the book out there, and CG made this dream happen. So that's the most important thing for me. But yeah, I mean, everyone has said that though, that I didn't skimp on the quality, and I didn't.
Right.
I made sure.
No, I was just going to add that it's a beautiful book, and I love the artistic style. I like the talent you brought together on this book, and for it being your very first book, it's hugely impressive. And I hear what you're saying, where you need to give yourself. There's a sense of needing to prove yourself, because if nobody knows who you are and you're just releasing your first book, you want to do your best to nail everything down and get that thing fulfilled as clean as possible. So yeah. Beautiful book for sure.
I appreciate that. I really, really do. I mean, the second one, Mickey's drawing the second one. It's exactly the same artist. I'm just fixing up some script amends at the moment, things that to make bits and pieces run with more of continuity. We've tightened out how we're working as well. Like, we've learned so much from the first book. So, for example, the first book, we ended up having delays because of sicknesses on like people with working in a campaign got sick, and then also, which it happens, it's a way of life, isn't it? But the other thing was, I think I put my campaign up, my original campaign, for 6 months, and I really thought that. I don't know why I thought I'd be able to get a book of this quality sorted out in 6 months was insane. So that's why we've given ourselves longer this time. But other things, like originally I was sending the chaplains every single chapter for them to read over and okay, and then passing it on to Mickey. But this time we made the agreement that they would have the entire script and go over it so they would okay the entire thing, and then he would just work on the entire thing. So that was one of the things that we came to the agreement to change. We also, the reason it's good to get them to do that is because then there's no slip-ups along the way of things they might say doesn't work, and then we've got to change bits and pieces. So, and the other thing is I've purposely done this as well because Mickey, working on Charlie's London is not his only project. He's got long-term contractual obligations with other people he does books with. So he's got one other person he does a book with, and he's been doing this for quite a long time. So we've sort of done this campaign so that we've fitted it in that he can do like half of, a third of my book, do this one. He'll be working on this other one, and then come back to my one and then finish it. And to be honest with you, the contract he has with this other company, because it is a company, he has to be finished by a certain date. He has to. So he's got like a 3-month window where he will do a load of pages for them, and he'll still work on the odd bit and pieces for Charlie's London, because Mickey's like that. Mickey can't put the book down. It's exactly what he's like. So you end up, if we manage to stick to the time frame, which I'm 100% sure we will, he'll actually finish earlier than he's even planned to finish. So we've taken in all of these things. Like on the campaign, it says that the book's due July 2023. But I reckon by talking to him only last week and going through timelines, we'll probably have the book finished about March, April. So because I really want to get this one out earlier than I actually want to get it out earlier than for the fulfillment date, because I want people to start seeing it. And people have said to me, please don't shut down the campaign after the 60 days. Are you going to go in demand? We really want to buy it. And I think, you was one of them. I've had so many DMs. That's why, when people have said to me, someone said it in my chat a couple of live streams ago, I think it's really criminal that this one's not on what the first one is. And I'm like, do you know what? It's not a massive problem. And I also know that people will back all the way through this campaign. I've had such a positive reach out from the CG community that it beating my first book is not a big thing. What is a big thing to me is getting it out there to people, which is 100% what it's going to do. And, I won't shut the campaign down till I run out of books. Like I'll do on the second one what I did on the first one. I'll keep it open right until I'm running out of things. So it's not a problem at all. Which to be honest, I did do that. I had to shut down. If I remember rightly, I had Carl's black and white cover and the ink spots cover left. And I had to shut Tears down because they were the only ones I had left. And I was like, well, I can't promise to fulfill something to someone if I don't have it. So, and it's just been so cool. I can't even say anything else. And I anticipate the same for the second one. So, and we've already sorted out, this is how organized this campaign is, and people don't see what goes on behind closed doors. We already have a title for book 3.
Ooh,
so
cool.
We already know what's going on with book 3. Like, this is why I am genuinely this positive about them. And I also think when book 3 comes out and we have all 3 books on one campaign, I think we're going to get a lot of people back in that one, because a lot of people, I think, now they know it's not just one book. They're waiting for the 3rd campaign to get the whole trilogy together. So yeah, I mean, I just thought I'd clear that up because I have had quite a few people say to me, "Oh, it's got a bit of a slow start," and it's like it really doesn't bother me. I'm just so happy for everyone that's backed.
Right. Yeah. I mean, this is your second campaign, and it, even though it hasn't exceeded the first campaign, it still is an impressive amount considering.
Oh yeah.
The majority of the crowdfunders, most of them, well, maybe roughly, well, a chunk of them basically don't get funded at all.
Yeah.
And some of them, they make average 2,000, 3,000. So to do this well on only your second campaign is impressive. There's like a kind of a general, almost like a, I don't know if it's like a general rule that the first 3 or 4 campaigns in crowdfunding, it's pretty much expected that you'll be in the negative, and then it's around the third or fourth campaign where you start to actually start realizing profit.
Yeah.
Anything close to profit. So you are definitely off to a good start, and you started on the discussing lessons learned from the first campaign. And I think that's a really good idea to get the whole script approved first.
Yeah.
And doing it in stages, like you get the script approved by the estate, and then you get the artwork approved by the estate, and then you get the artwork with the dialogue approved.
No. So how it goes is that they will approve the script there, and then they already have approved the artist. They've seen his style. They've seen the entirety of book 1. They've seen the first 10 pages, which is exactly what Mickey we've sent them. They've approved that. So then it's just a case of they might randomly ask me for pages every now and then, but pretty much it's left on its own till the whole book is done. Then they'll ask for the whole book PDF, which they see. As long as that's okayed, it goes to print. So I have a very relaxed, a very, very relaxed thing with them. Put it this way, like this is how relaxed it is. If that book hadn't funded, I wouldn't have to pay them what I have to pay them. That's how relaxed they are. They didn't even tell me. They put a really lovely message in there. They do a monthly newsletter that they send out online.
Okay.
All of a sudden, I got this massive bump of backers. And I was like, oh, maybe someone's spoken about it on a stream, like, you know, when I've been asleep or something like that. Had no idea. And then all of a sudden, I was looking at my emails and I saw that they'd sent their newsletter out and they'd actually spoken about it, said how amazing it was, said that it had been fully funded and that it was already on this and it had this many days left to go, and put the link. And so people who follow Chaplin were giving it, like, had been backing it, because I noticed when I was looking on like Indiegogo and, you know, what you can see and what you can get, like what you can see people, you know, when they back and whatnot, there was a lot of names there I didn't recognize. So there was a lot of names that I didn't recognize that backed the first campaign. Like when you go through and you obviously, you know, you do your shipping labels and stuff. And I was like, wow, this is really, really, really cool that people have come from another side. I mean, I've always had quite a big support from the silent film community for obvious reasons, but it was just really lovely to see new people picking it up. And yeah, it was just hey Hex Alan. So yeah, that was really, really cool. I saw that, and just they are just so relaxed and so easy to work with. I mean, never once have I ever got really nervous about anything to do with. I think the only time I felt a slight twinge of nerves was when they actually had the final PDF, and I was panicking because Mickey had already started working on the project that we were just talking about. So I wasn't sure how easy it was going to be for him to come back and amend pages in between the project.
Right.
And I'm thinking, oh, please don't let there be anything wrong. And there wasn't. They absolutely loved it. So, and and they're the cover. I mean, the one of the covers that they love. I mean, they do. There's a couple of covers that they love all of the covers on this one campaign. I mean, they cannot believe that we were able to pull Graham Nolan onto it. Like, they were so impressed that Graham Nolan was actually on there. They'd heard of him, you know, they had known the work he had done before with Bane and so on.
Yeah.
And they said that they can see why that cover would work so much for an American market and a comic book market. And they've already been saying that the Mickey's cover on the campaign is very much like a European comics market, which is funny because Mickey's actually European, so it's makes no surprise that his cover on the crowdfund is the one that they went, we could see this selling more to a European market, because they're based in Switzerland, so they obviously know that market very well. So yeah, it's just really, really it's just really, really cool that I'm able to do it. This second book goes very much more into his films and very much more into sort of the 20s and the 30s, and it ends in 1941 with the making of The Great Dictator. So, and that in itself has got its own license that I didn't even have to apply for, because it's all included in what I'm doing. So most people who have to do anything with The Great Dictator, they have to apply for a second license. Well, I didn't. Nice. So I was quite happy about that one.
No kidding. Yeah, I wanted to add that, well, if I hadn't already, I wanted to give a quick shout out to Not My Monkeys, Not My Circus, COVID Kev, Hexalon Comics, and anyone who's hanging out in stealth. Welcome all. Appreciate your support for this awesome project and for Charlie's London.
Thank you very much.
I wanted to add that you mentioned, and you never cease to mention, how CG Comicscape helped bring this to life. But I did also want to give you props, because the fact that you were able to work with an estate who owns such a valuable IP and get them on board for such a project and to release quality content, that was real huge. That was a huge boost, a shot in the arm for CG too. And
I agree, and I always have said, and I will always bang this drum, that you can go through my Twitter, my social media, anything to do with me, you will never ever find any of this derogatory stuff they try to mudsling at people over here. My conscience is clear. I can go to sleep every night with a completely clear head, knowing that nothing I have ever done has ever disrespected, offended, or caused anybody any offense through any derogatory comment I have ever made. My book, the reason why my book works so well over here is because Chaplin is the epitome of cancel culture. They tried to cancel him more times than I think I've had hot dinners. And I think that is something that really resonated with me, why this book was so important, because he was never a communist. That was all rubbish. He was never anything that these people tried to make him. He was probably the best, one of the best rags to riches stories you're ever going to hear. And I think he is, even though he's not American and wasn't American, he is such a personification of the American dream. And I think that these things are all things that in today's society and today's culture, people are trying to destroy. And I think this is why I felt that this story was so important to be over here. I mean, and also apart from that, I'm never going to flinch away from the fact that I feel about things the way that I do. I mean, I walked into, Jan and I went out today, and we walked into a mainstream comic shop just because we saw one. I was like, we was nosy and, wanted to go and have a look. And I kid you not, I was in there for 5 minutes and I just wanted to vomit, because it was just horrible. It was horrible to the fact of what these shops now, what they stand for. They don't stand for comics anymore. They don't stand for, you know, what we grew up loving and the pop culture that should be preserved. They're just excuses to sell toys. And I don't even mean good toys. I mean nothing but Funkos. Like I mean, you know, and don't get me wrong, like, I'm not going to sit here and be a hypocrite because I've got Funkos. I mean, well, actually, no, I don't actually have any anymore. But Jan has a whole collection of 007 Funkos because, like, he loves James Bond, so he's got a set of 8 of them, and they're in the boxes. But
I didn't know they did that.
but they are the originals, so they're like Roger Moore and you know, like they're
the good ones.
And yeah, so the original. And the only one he doesn't have, because he actually said the box would be too big to put on the shelf and it's just ridiculous, is they actually have his Aston Martin DB5. But what he hated about it was like the way James Bond sits, like his head comes out the top, because Funko's head's always big. He said he thought it looked too childish. I was like, it looks too childish, but you've got all the other ones. That makes absolute perfect sense. So yeah, but other than, I mean, you know, they weren't, I mean, put it this way, the funniest thing was I really wanted Mark Millar's new book, A King of Spies. I really wanted that in the graphic novel. And I went into this comic shop and I was like, can you get this book? And the guy went, oh, I can't get it for another 3 weeks. I was like, well, I don't live anywhere around here. And as we walked out of the comic shop, I said to Jan, I said, if I owned that comic shop, right, and I wanted to keep my customers, I've already had a look on Amazon, right? I went on Amazon before I went in that shop. Amazon Prime, I could get it delivered to my house the next day, right? The same book he's telling me I've got to wait 3 weeks for. If I was a comic shop owner and I wanted to keep my customers, I'd be going on Amazon Prime, I'd be buying it, I'd be getting it sent to the store, and I'd be saying, come back in this time tomorrow and I'll have your book for you here. And I'd go, do you know what? I'm going to charge them £15, even though it's going to cost me like £12 to get here, because obviously I'm going to get my little bit of profit in whatever. But then that customer then comes to you and goes, do you know what? This person can get this book for me next day. Because otherwise, that's how you lose your customers to Amazon and big places like this. He didn't, you know, it would have been exactly as we say over here, same meat, different gravy. It would have been the same outcome. But the bottom line is this guy was happy to let me walk out of the shop thinking I wasn't going to get a book for 3 weeks, because he was more interested in the fact that I wasn't buying the Funkos, which they make money on. I mean, he had a copy of a Walking Dead comic in there. And it was Here's Negan. Is it Here's Negan? Yeah. The one that was given on Free Comic Book Day about 2 years ago, right? Negan Lives. That's it. And I looked at it and I looked at Jan and I walked out and he was like, I know exactly what you're thinking. I went, yeah, that was a Free Comic Book Day book 3 years ago. And that dude's charging $50 or £50 for it because he knows that some idiot is not going to realise it's a Free Comic Book Day book. So this is the sort of crap that we're dealing with in comic book shops. And people wonder why the bottom's falling out of the industry or we're having to all go crowdfunding.
Man.
You know, it's a sad reality of it.
That's so bad. Yeah, it's like you know, the woke Star Wars from Lucasfilm these days, now that they're owned by Disney. There was a Star Wars, The High Republic. They released a comic. I visited, I did a live stream where I visited like one of those antique malls. And I actually found someone trying to sell one of the free books from High Republic. It was hilarious. That
is mental. I mean, you know, that's the other thing, though, isn't it? Star Wars. You know, really, like the truth of the matter is, and we all know this is true. The only reason that Disney bought Star Wars because they wanted to sell shed ton of toys. Like, they don't care about the story. They don't care about the characters. They just want to sell a load of toys. And, you know, and they haven't put it in the hands of writers that care. I mean, there are so many writers out there, well-known writers, and they don't even have to be, you know, like writers over our side of things. Yet I'm sure there are some decent sort of probably slightly woke writers that could still write Disney better than what Star Wars better than what Disney is writing it now. You know, there are 100% people that I don't understand why they haven't given it to. It's just ridiculous. It's just like because they don't care. They really don't care. Their new thing. Well, I say new. It's not really new, but their go-to thing, and we've seen it so many times. If you don't like a character and they happen to be a different color to you, you must be racist. It's got nothing to do with how terrible the story is or how badly the script's written or how one-dimensional the character is. No, it's all to do with the fact of if you don't like this character, then you must be a bigot, you must be a homophobe, you must be a transphobe, you must all these things. Now, that's why it goes back to what we said before about my conscience will always be clear about this stuff. I have some very, very close friends in my real life, away from my internet life, who are trans and who are gay, and they both feel the same way that we do about all this stuff. And so many gay people and trans people and women and any other walk of life you want to talk about, black people, Hispanic people, Chinese people, whoever, they all think this is rubbish. The only reason why we don't read more about the mainstream agreeing that this is rubbish is people are too scared to speak out against it because they're scared of what it's going to have an impact for them. And that's 100% the truth of it.
Cancel culture, for sure.
Yeah, it is. It's 100% cancel culture, you know, and like the only people that are uncancelable are people that are already dead or people that have made so much money that they don't care because even if they never worked for the rest of their life, they don't have to worry about it. And let's be honest, that's not a very large percentage of the population. So the likes of most people have got to grin, bear it, and get on with it, and just sort of, you know, I'm really lucky because the school that I'm in, it, you know, of course, it like most mainstream schools, it has to toe the line and do bits and pieces to sort of, you know, meet the wider agenda of what's going on in the country. But generally, we don't have the same level of wokeness that I see in so many schools around the world. I mean, I know that I've seen things that happen in American schools where, you know, people have been sacked for this, or the great thing is the libs on TikTok.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Like when it shows like my worry with things like that, I'll be really honest with you. I think if I was new to CG now, with the way that education has become such a vessel of wokeness, I think if I was new to CG now and coming around, there would be a lot of mistrust about me until people got to know me because I'm a teacher and everyone knows I'm a teacher, because there is so much wokeness in education.
Yeah.
And I think that I was lucky because I was around in you know, I've been around about 4 years now in CG. So people know that that sort of crap doesn't enter my classroom. But I could really understand if I came round here and people heard the job I did and they were like, is she really like this? Or is she just like coming around here to see what we're like to, you know, spread woke BS sort of thing?
Yeah, really.
No, I mean, I could totally understand that. But when I see like some of the things these teachers on that, you know, that lives on TikTok and like the things that teaching in America, it happens here. I mean, lives on TikTok actually has highlighted British teachers as well. But I will tell you now that I know for a fact that the minute those things end up online, those teachers find themselves out of jobs pretty bloody quickly. Because, you know, I mean, that's why I say to you, go through any of my social media. You'll never find anything derogatory to me, to anybody else, to the school that I work in, like nothing. Because nothing I say would ever, you know, would put anybody down. And it was another reason why I think when I've had people go, oh, you know, bringing out this book for CG, are you sure that's wise? And I'm like, I'm actually bringing out this book for me and anybody that wants to back it. Am I CG and proud? Of course I am. I've never, ever hidden away from that fact. But I also know that the chaplains follow me on Twitter They see me use hashtag Comicsgate. Never once have they ever said anything. So until I have an awkward conversation, which I very much doubt, I'm not going to do anything different to what I'm doing now, because what I'm doing now is selling my book to anyone that wants to buy it.
Absolutely. On that note, let's check out the campaign here.
Thank you. That would be lovely. And yeah, I'm sorry if I've gone on a bit of a rant. I'm not actually, I'm in a good mood today. I'm not angry or anything. No one has to worry about that.
It's all good. Yeah, I mean, we could literally go on for hours if left to our own devices.
Yes.
Yeah, so as we know, the original campaign did really well. Man, at the risk, well, hopefully, I did want to take a moment to welcome Madanui. Thanks for joining us, and thanks for the support.
Yeah.
I just wanted to ask real quick if it can be a quick answer, since we don't have too much time. Well, actually, I guess it's a two-parter. Number one, what was like the reaction? I know you experienced part of the reaction from the newsletter from the Chaplin estate, but as a whole, you know, once it got distributed, I think you mentioned you guys were looking into possibly having your book included in the museum for Charlie Chaplin.
Yeah, in the gift shop. Yeah, we're still working on the finer things for doing that. That's because the thing is, that's going to take a whole new contract.
Oh,
Not there's going to be any. There's no issue with getting that. It's more of a fact of, well, put it this way. Whereas I have to pay them a percentage now for obviously the copyright, it's almost flipped. Like I get a payment from them every single month because they'll be doing all the printing and stuff. So it's literally everyone that gets sold, I get the percentage. So it's just
nice.
so it's just a case of recalibrating that and whatever it will be. Because I've also got my contract that allows me to sell it anywhere I want. So, for example, when it's in anything that the Chaplins own, that'll be where that contract comes into play, and I don't have to pay them anything. But if I was to sell it in local comic book shops or local book shops, or if I was to take it to silent film festivals, Comic Cons, all this stuff, I just have to give them the percentage I contractually have to give them every couple of months when I have to give it to them. So it just means that certain things have got to get ironed out, so there's no conflict of interest in contracts. So that's all it is. So that's all it is. Plus, they're really good and know my day job, so they know that really I can only do the majority of this sort of stuff when I'm on school holidays. So therefore, like now is when I'll be sitting down having those Zoom calls, having those go through like what cover are they having, what sort of things are going on, because like it will be a whole different book. So, for example, they're very understanding that Statistical Zero's Tramp Tales stories will not be in there because they were a stretch goal for my Indiegogo backers. And therefore, I've said I don't want them to be in the main commercial book because I don't feel like the commercial backers have the right to have it. They didn't help me fulfill the goal to get it. So, therefore, the commercial book will just be the standard story.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense to me. Welcome, Comics Mate. Good to have you. Woo, hey LCG. Charlie knows what's up. And outside of the estate, have you, for example, gotten a pleasant surprise from the enormous attention and, you know, the very fact that you released this book? Are you hearing from a lot of communities of Charlie Chaplin fans, for example?
Oh yeah. I mean, I've got a lot of people. I've got the two success stories from book one for me that I will cherish forever. These are the two statements. Charlie Chaplin fans who tell me it's an absolute perfect homage to their hero, and believe me, like I've got a really good knowledge about Charlie Chaplin. I know people that would literally pull your back leg, if you was a fly, pull your back legs off for getting even the slightest thing wrong. That didn't happen in that film. It happened in this one. That particular image is not from this. It's from this. I know exactly. I know them people. So when I get messages from them going, girl, you did this good. You did this justice. I'm happy. The other people that I love are people that go, I had no bloody interest in silent films or Charlie Chaplin till I picked up your book, and now I own every single one of his films, right?
Oh, man.
Those are the 2 sets of, actually, oh no, I lied. There was one other story that I have to share. I don't remember the person's name, but for the sheer sake of how personal the story is, I wouldn't have said it if I did. But this one person messaged me, they DM'd me, and they said their father suffers with dementia. He's in a care home, and he doesn't remember anything really apart from things when he was growing up and very young. So I gave him your book because he loved Charlie Chaplin, and he remembered all the films that were mentioned in your first book. So when I hear that, that's the 3 sort of sections of, and that's why I go back to what I said to you before. When you crowdfund and you get that book in your hand, right? That is what it's all about. Like, for me, that is what it's all about. Being able to get this to customers and having my own. There's no feeling in the world like having that book and seeing your name on it, you know, and then turning it over and seeing that it's an officially licensed product with the logo of the estate and that on it, knowing that I've done something where now my name is in, like, the Chaplins always, whatever book comes out, they always ask for copies. And the reason they ask for copies is because the estate has a library that they keep everything in every language, in any variant covers. They have a massive array of books about Chaplin. And just to know that my book is sat on that shelf, and Comicsgate did that. Like, that's not an exaggeration. CG did that. So, I mean, I set a funding goal for the first book that was going to be able to pay Mickey and produce the books, right? And I did it on a CG show. I launched my first book on Ethan's show, and I did that amount on the first. So how can I not say Comicsgate have done this book for me? I'll never be able to say that, and I'll never say that because it did. I went on 3 CG streams the night I launched the second one, my own, Aaron Lepresti's, and Ethan's.
Oh, nice.
And I funded that book on those 3 shows. CG funded the second one. Like, it's not. I'm never going to be one of these people that will say anything different. This is where this book should be. This is where this book belongs.
Most definitely. Yeah. That's so cool. I love those stories. Definitely. Thanks for sharing those.
No, that's not a problem at all. I know I said to you on backstage that I've got about an hour, but like I can always give you a little bit longer. So if you wanted to go for anything else, I will make sure we stick around and go through it.
I appreciate it. I just wanted to go over the campaign now.
Okay. Cool.
I mean, so all of this stuff is real fascinating. It's real trippy. Let's watch the trailer here.
Cool.
Oops. Said, let's watch the trailer. Oh, there he goes. Let me see if I can force it.
The man who gives a little book is a man. The crowd is, yes, Charlie Chaplin.
This country is at war with Germany.
Soldiers, in the name of democracy, let us all unite!
And there we have it.
That's freaking amazing. Did you make that trailer?
I did, yeah.
that is so cool. I really like that trailer.
I'm really lucky. One thing I'm lucky with doing a book about Chaplin, right? Is that I can make any trailers look like silent films, so I don't have to worry about my technical skills being massive. I can just make it look like a silent film, and it's good, and it's exactly what it should be.
All right, so we got that. The campaign's at 23,310 for 284 backers. I'm definitely going to be a backer because I don't want to miss out on this.
Cool, thank you very much. I hope you loved the package and everything of your first one as well.
Oh, most definitely. Excuse me.
That's all right. I mean, I know you got the kit and caboodle and the box. Everybody always commented about the box for those, and they are back on book 2. So we do actually have a similar style for book 2 as well, which I'm really excited about.
Nice. One of the things that blew me away about the first campaign is the artwork. I don't think I'd ever seen anything quite like this in this kind of style. And it just blew me away. And immediately I knew I was going to have to back it. Because I also like the...
I think Mickey's got a very unique style, and also it's quite European as well. Like if you look at European comic books, there is a lot of this. There is very much a lot of this sort of style going on. And the thing is, as well, I was so happy that I was able to work with an artist like him, because it's quite hard to draw Chaplin. Like if you speak to William Crawford Hazel, like Wooly, who did the Stan and Charlie one shot on the first campaign, he will tell you, and he will happily tell you this, he never wants to draw Charlie Chaplin again in his life, right? Because it drove him mad that every time he was trying to draw him, he was freaking out that he didn't want to make him look like Hitler.
Yeah, I see it.
So I understand. I also know that Mickey has, expressed concern about that. So the fact that neither one of them, I mean, I don't know why Wooly worried, because he never made him look like Hitler once. So I just, but if I was, I mean, I actually said to Wooly, do you fancy coming back for a one shot the second time? He's like, no, I'm not drawing him ever again. But obviously he was, he was laughing as he said it. But it's true. I have a great group of friends in CG UK, and I have a great group of people that worked on the first one, and I've got some incredible people on the second one. So yeah, I mean, I'm very, very happy and very, very blessed with this. I mean, this is the Graham Nolan cover that was insane. I mean, when I got this, I was like, wow, he done exactly what I was seeing in my head that I thought he was going to do. And then, Gabe coloured it, and excuse me, Gabe coloured it and then gave a whole new dimension to already what was an incredibly amazing cover. And I originally was putting the coloured version up as a 24-hour special, because on the first campaign I did Donald DeLay's cover in black and white for the limited edition, and I had so many people DMing me going, Charlie, please, no, don't put that up for just the first 24 hours. I want to back it, and I don't get paid yet. So I left a double pack with reduced shipping up for the double pack of Graham Nolan's for the first week. And then I took them down as a double pack with the reduced shipping, but they're both still there for you to buy. And the one that now has a very similar package with a reduced shipping, I think it's about $5 cheaper to buy them together, is actually the Peter Gilmore double pack that you see there. So you can get both Gilmore's covers in a very similar pack, like you would have got Graham's ones on here as well. So, and then the Big Top Circus box, if you actually click on that, there's so much stuff in that box. Like, people actually say to me, you should have this as your featured. But I know this is going to sound really ridiculous. I really hate, and I just don't want to do it myself. I'm not saying other CG creators, you doing it like you do your campaigns, all your campaigns are incredible the way you do it. But for me, I didn't want to put my most expensive tier as the featured tier,
I can see that. Yeah.
Right. To me, the feature tier should be one of the books. And to me, you know, one of the biggest things on this is that some little girl from London was able to get Graham Nolan's work on her book. Like, that's why that is the featured tier, because it's a Graham Nolan cover, for Christ's sake. You know, even Mickey, when I told him we had Graham Nolan work on this campaign, he's like, you are joking. Like, this is an established, fantastic artist who, I mean, we're pretty sure we can all say that, you know, Mickey can draw. he's like going, oh my God, you've got Graham Nolan. So it's that was why that was the featured tier. Yeah, that's also very true. Charlie, just give Charlie. He did also have. Charlie did have quite spellbinding eyes. Actually, is I did the same. My featured tier, the Boob Dan cover. No problem with that. Yes, yeah, so if you actually click on the Big Top Circus box tier, you'll see. You'll see if you click on it and see what's in it. You'll actually see like it's got all of the covers. So you will get every single book. You'll also get so you'll get the Billy Tucci, you'll get an exclusive Billy Tucci print, which is not even been shown on the campaign yet. You'll get that. There will be an exclusive patch like the first one. There'll be a keyring like the first one. You'll get the first book. So Charlie's London, the first book, as the second printing with the second printing cover, which is the Gilmore cover. You'll get that. You'll get an exclusive Statistical Zero sketch card, the same as you done the first one. But I have to say, genuinely, anyone listening, Stato has upped his game on the second boxes, the second set of these cards. I adored the innocence and simplicity of his sketches for the first one, but he's taken this to a whole new level with these cards. But I'm telling you, it's going to be a real struggle to give them to the backers because I want them all. Right? When he sends them to me, I'm going to be like, one for you, one for me, one for you, one for me. And I will, and I'm not even lying. But I'll tell you how it happened, right, with him with these cards. And it was so funny because Stato, anyone that knows him, he is the sweetest, loveliest person you'll ever meet. I'm really proud to say he's one of my closest friends in CG. Like, I adore him. And the other one that's just turned up that I adore is the rabid communist, as I call him. But Commie Mark is also 100%. He's one of my best friends in CG. I talk to him every day, and we really are good friends. He will say like I'm a real life friend because we do. Like there was a point. It was really sweet. There was a point when I was like, before I launched the second book, I remember actually saying, I'm just leaving social media for a period of time. I've had enough. There was a lot going on personally. And we'd all exchanged telephone numbers ages ago when everything was happening, where we really, really thought that after the whole stuff with Trump last year, a lot of us really thought that anyone who'd used the CG hashtag was going to find their Twitter account nuked. Right. And we really thought that could be a thing. So we all swapped numbers. And then all of a sudden, when I said, I've just got to get off social media, I've had enough, all of a sudden my phone went and it was a text message. And it was actually from Mark saying, I'm still here if you need me. And then he put Commie Mark in brackets. So that's what we are, genuinely all friends. Like, we really are. But as I was saying about Stato, cool. So I said to Stato, I've got loads of your cards left from the first campaign.
Oh, wow. Really?
Like he sent me 250 cards.
Wow.
That he drew, and he literally said, I just couldn't stop drawing them. Like, I love to draw them. So he was. So I can honestly say to you that it wasn't a case of sieving through the really good ones and the okay ones. Every single one he sent me was good enough to send to a backer, like 100%. So I just said to him, look, I've still got a load of them. I want to do the sketch cards in the second box as well. I'll use these ones. Now, like I say, Stato never does diva. Like, Stato's not a diva, right? He just doesn't. He never has like diva fits. And he went, you can't do that. My drawing is so much better now than it was on the first one. And I was like, okay. So he went, I'm going to send you whole new ones. And I was like, if you want to, Stat, you don't need to. Like, I'm sure the backers are going to love these to get a second chance of getting them. No. And then he started posting them to me in DMs, and I started seeing them on Twitter, and I was like, damn, you're not lying. Like, your drawing is so, it's come on, like, so incredible. But the problem is now they're all so good, I just want to keep them. So, you know, I'm just a bit, you know, I'm just a bit like,
Yeah, he's been improving. Yeah.
Oh, he's so supportive of this campaign, and he loves. So I'm just so happy. Like I say, everybody working on it. So you'll get another one of them, and the new thing that we've never done before. And again, it's you know, it's in house. It's one of my CG UK brothers is making them. Is there are going to be little figurines of Statistical Zero's Tramp Tails available in the box for so if you scroll down, you'll actually see them.
Tramp Tails figurine.
Yeah, you'll actually. So obviously, this is Mickey's cover.
Yeah.
Which is beautiful, I have to say. From modern times, he's really gone for it there. Peter Gilmore's cover for book 2.
The monkeys.
Which are those monkeys. I told Gilmore's got this thing, like, so this is obviously, so Chaplin being attacked by animals, right? If you scroll down to, you'll see here, this is if you remember, you got the silent edition in the first campaign, which was this image in black and white was on the front of it. So we've colorized it to make it the reprinting for book 2. So the reprint for book 1.
All right.
People loved this cover, so we thought we'll make it the reprint cover. But if you notice, Charlie's again being attacked by pigeons. Gilmore's got this thing about this man being attacked by animals, right? So I'm like Gilmore, what's going on inside your brain? This poor man's constantly attacked by animals. But that's why we did them as book 1 and book 2 as a set, because it made perfect sense. Yeah. So if you go down the campaign, you'll see the figurines.
Yeah, part of the trailer even included him with monkeys biting on his nose and stuff. Like,
yeah, it was. So these are the image on the top is subject to change. It's just so people can see what the boxes look like. The design for the tops of those ones you see there are because book 1 was his early career, so they were Keystone Cops chasing the tramp. But these next ones are going to be probably the cogs from modern times when he goes around the cogs. So I think that's what we're working on to have now for the second box. But if you scroll down there, you'll see the figurines. There you go. So Studio 7 Collectibles is Jim, our very own love pigeon, who's famous for, for working on Doomsday Kingdom. He's now making these. They're going to be printed in resin. So they're going to be 3D printed in resin.
Wow.
And you'll actually see that it is based on Stato's image. In the box that you get, they will be painted silver. You can buy them separately, and they are unpainted for you to just paint yourself. And that's available as an add-on. And a lot of people have actually backed them as add-ons to be able to paint them themselves. So I actually can't wait to start seeing images of these turn up on Twitter painted. Like, that would be really cool. But yeah, the little one comes inside the box that's painted silver. So that's pretty cool. That's a totally new thing for us to do. So I'm so excited to see how they turn out.
That looks cool. So what is 100 millimeters equate to in inches?
I think it's 10 centimeters. So anyone in the chat can give us a hand and saying what it is in inches, because I can't think off the top of my head. I might have to Google that. What is it? 100 millimeters. In inches. Here we go. In inches. In inches. That is 4 inches.
Okay. All right.
4 inches. I will remember that for next time. Yeah, they're not small. They're pretty decent size. Hex Allen said he thought I was giving away a PlayStation 5. No, I'm not giving away a PlayStation 5, sadly.
It's not a PlayStation 5 Charlie Chaplin edition?
That
where
would be pretty
it's
cool.
black and white with a silhouette of Charlie Chaplin.
That would be pretty cool.
Welcome, Kami Mark. Good to see you. Working and twerking.
So yeah, this is obviously the newest thing to the campaign. So we are excited about that.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Man. Stretch goals, 15K stretch goal.
Which we've met that one yet. The old
6 a.m. comics.
Yeah, he's back again, working on done another sticker, which I love these stickers. We've also got the 20K. We hit a we actually got a bookmark unlocked, so that's the image on both sides.
Cool.
So that's pretty cool. I do have, and I still need to add it in the campaign. I do actually have a 25K stretch goal, which is going to be some more postcards, lobby cards added to the campaign.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so they're going to be like various different images based on different Chaplin films that have been done by a really cool cosplayer who dresses up as Chaplin. So they're being added as the 25K stretch goal.
Oh, wow.
When we do get there. Yeah, I mean, one of them is really, really cool. I don't know if I've got it on my desktop, I could show it to you. But it's basically, there's a really famous image of Chaplin where he's laying in a bath reading a newspaper. And we were actually able to recreate the image. And it was done with him laying in the bath, but instead of holding this newspaper, he's actually holding book one. So yeah, and nice. my poor friend Jack was like laying in this bath of like cold water, having all these pictures taken. So
why did you give him hot water?
Oh, I didn't do the pictures. He was just telling me that's how the water ended up going cold. Nothing to do with me.
Oh, okay, all right. Yeah. So you say.
Nothing to do with me. But it was, it was actually really, really cool when he sent me the pictures. Hopefully, I'm just trying to see if it's going to work. No, it's telling me, I don't know why it keeps this. StreamYard is doing this really weird thing with Max, where it's not actually letting me, unless I change my preference, it won't let me straight away share things, which is really bizarre. I don't know how. So I've just what I've done is I've just dropped it in a DM to you. So if you want to show it your end, you'll be able to. So this is actually the picture. So this is one of the pictures.
All right, let me hop back over there.
You should be able to see it.
I know they added some more features, I guess.
Yeah, online it keeps saying you can't share this screen unless you change your preferences, and I've changed my preferences like 1,000,000 times, but it still does it. So I don't know what's going on.
Oh, strange. Yeah, because I'm using a MacBook Pro right now, so it's kind of curious. Oh, what the heck? Oh, sorry.
That's all right. I just thought I'll just stay here. See what happens.
What the heck? What did I just do? Hey, where is it?
I sent it to you on Twitter.
Yeah. I got it. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. I thought I opened it in a new program, but all right, one moment.
That's all right. Yeah, so I don't know. It's come up with these whole new weird and wonderful things. So at least now, you can play music and stuff in the background now, can't you, as well?
Yeah. I was going to try that later today because, I think it might be more exciting than listening to me talk in my videos.
There we go. That's the one. So the real image is him obviously laying in a bath reading, I think it's like a newspaper from the time, but we've done it now where he's actually laying in the bath reading my number one. And I can promise you, like, That's not superimposed. I had to send him a second edition in case he's like I sent him one of my reader copies in case it got damaged with the water. So originally, I mean, this is why I say to you, like, my backers and the people that work on my campaign, they literally mean everything to me, is that originally this was going to be a cover.
All right.
But we ended up not having it as a cover for loads of different reasons. And I'd already said to my friend Jack, well, this is going to be a cover. And then when he was really excited because he's a massive Chaplin fan, and when we then couldn't make it into a comic, I was really upset for him. And he didn't really say anything, but I was really upset for him because he put all this work in. So I messaged him like last week and I said, look, I tell you what I'll do. It literally costs, I think it costs about $25 to when I get I always get proof editions. Like I won't ever send print, always get proofs. And if you get a proof through Mixam, it's like $25. It's about £20 to get the one off. So I've already said to him, look, because he didn't actually want anything for these pictures. Like, this is how amazing people are. He didn't want paying for doing this. He just literally loved doing this project. So I've already said to him, look, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get you some copies printed for yourself with your own cover on them. So a personalized edition, four or five editions where this is going to be the cover of his book, so that he'll have his own version, which he was like, he was totally blown away, because this is what I'm saying. The people that have worked close to me and worked on making this a reality are very dear to me. So I will do anything I can to, like Mickey, for example, I sent him a massive like wad of the extra books so that he's got them for whatever he wants to use them for, because he made that book a reality. He actually made that book come to life. So it's genuine with me. Like, I am so thankful for every single person that has worked on this book, every single person that retweets, every single person that backs, everyone that gives me advice, everyone that has me on their shows, anyone that just talks to me when I've got something that I need to get off my chest, or a decision I'm not sure about how to make, or advice, anything. Oh my God, I can't be more thankful. And that's why, I am the way I am. I'm very, very grateful to everybody.
Awesome stuff. That's very cool. Let's make sure I do this right and hop back over to the campaign screen.
Yeah, it's so I think I'm going to be streaming a lot more. Like I said, I'm going to be streaming a lot more in the holidays because I got the time. I am going to be doing some videos. I've got loads of different sort of little topics I want to talk about. I'm going to be doing a lot more of my history stuff as well, because I do love to do like my history streams and all those sorts of things. So yeah, I'm going to be a lot more around. People are going to see a lot more of me.
Nice. Let me see. So next one after the 25K one is going to be the 30K Mickey Arts cover as a print for every backer. 40K is going to be Charlie's London Circus badge for every backer. And as a reminder, badge means basically like button or pin in the States.
Yeah. I didn't realize it was something totally different for you guys. I forgot it was a button. So I may have to just like change that so it doesn't confuse. When we get closer to that one, I may actually have to tell people, change that just to remind people that it's going to be a button and not like, something else.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you could do badge / pin / button or something like that.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
So it covers all the terms.
Yeah, I think that's good.
And then that's the end of that. So let's look at the different tiers. I just wanted to encourage everyone anyone who's already backed, thank you so much for your support. Greatly appreciate it. but also consider backing again. There are going to be a lot of family and friends who are interested in this campaign. Charlie Chaplin fans or otherwise. Beautifully designed book, awesome artwork. So consider getting them for gifts, Christmas, birthdays, what have you. If you haven't backed it yet, consider backing it today. Definitely would appreciate it. And also spread the word. Send it to all your social medias.
Perfect.
Back it once, back it twice, back it 3 times the lady. So, as you mentioned earlier, the Graham Nolan, the Graham Blitz Nolan cover is your featured. Featured usually means to me like a nice taste of what the whole project is. It's like the best bang for your buck, if you will.
Yeah.
And here you're featuring the Graham Nolan cover, and that is a win to be able to get a piece done by Graham Nolan. Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't think he's done much, if anything, on other campaigns. Like, I can't think off the top of my head of any other campaign that he's done a cover for.
Me either. Was it a matter of you just going, "Hey, Graham, you mind doing a cover for me?"
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's like, I know that a lot of the, like, some of the antis go, how did she happen to get Graham Nolan, or how did she happen to get Donald DeLay or Billy Tucci? And it's like, I asked them. Like, it's literally that simple. I asked them. And,
it's not brain surgery or anything.
Yeah, I mean, I just literally said, how much and can you do it? Like, it's that was it. So yeah.
Oh man, funny stuff. So that's really sweet that you got Graham Nolan to pitch in. So the stencil artist can.
Yeah.
The Yan Reward. So this is kind of on the kind of like Graham Nolan's "Buy Me a Beer" or something like that, or Billy Tucci's "Buy My Wife a Drink."
I'll tell you how. So this was done for 3 reasons. One, it was a little bit of a homage to those guys and what they've done in with these, and it is a bit of a trend. I think a little bit of an in joke as well in CG at the moment. The other reason was because people have said to me that when the campaign goes in demand, you can't donate anymore like you can when it's for when it's actually funding.
Oh, is that how it works?
And then people have said, and I got it on book 1 as well, and I felt, oh my God. So people have said, COVID hit, I've lost my job, I can't back books, I really want to back your campaign. I wish I could have just given a donation to make sure this got to the backers. So I did the Yan one. So people have actually said to me, we're really glad that we was able to buy Yan a beer if we couldn't back the book, because we couldn't afford to back the book. So that was why that was put on there. So if people just wanted to pledge and help the campaign, they could do. But I promise anyone that has backed this tier, Yan will get the beers. Like, I'm not just going to sit on the cash. He's going to have his. So
you're not going to take the cash and go use it to buy a new pair of shoes or something?
No, he's going to have his beers. It's fine. But the other reason was because he did so much bagging and boarding and helping me post on the first one that I did think this was quite kind of a sweet way to let everybody know how much they appreciate him. So, for example, It says 8 claimed there, but I can tell you that 15 people also got this as an add-on. So
cool.
So he's got 23 beers. And then what his plan is, he's planning on buying the craft beers that he does his beer reviews with.
Yes,
and he's planning on doing like 3 or 4 in a video at a time. And I think what the plan is to, like, he will say that this was from, not necessarily give the backer's name, because I know that goes into sort of grey area of doxing and that's not what we're about. So I think he might say, this is from like backer number such and such, thanks for the beer. So he'll give their number, and if that person knows what their backer number is, they'll be like, oh yeah, he's reviewing my beer that I bought him. So I think it's about also being able to get him some cool content too. So I think he loves doing that stuff. So it is a nice way of rewarding him. But he didn't know I was doing it. He literally found out the next morning after the campaign had gone live, and he saw it on there, and he was like, oh, that's pretty sweet. So yeah, it was something that was done for sort of like 3 different reasons, but I do think all 3 reasons are pretty cool.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm a big supporter of stencil artist. Yeah, yeah, he's a cool dude for sure. Out of curiosity, since it's available as an add-on, Indiegogo doesn't by chance give you the opportunity or the ability to actually specify quantities, does it? Like something like that. Let's say out of the blue, somebody's interested in buying him 5 beers, for example.
Yeah.
Could you choose from a drop-down menu a quantity or a free-form text field where you could type in the number?
I don't actually know. I've not actually looked. That's a very, very good point. I don't remember. I'm just actually on my campaign page now. I don't know if you can actually you can specify quantities if you was backing, funnily enough.
I know like if you do a t-shirt, you can set up drop down for sizes, but I've never it's the first time the questions popped in my head. Actually.
I've actually just gone to so if I go to proceed to check it, no, it doesn't actually let me change my quantity. That's a very
okay. All right.
That's and I don't think you can do that unless someone tells me how to do that separately. I think you have to. And the thing is that with something like buying him a beer, there's no postage, so therefore I think you just have to go back in 5 times and claim it.
Yeah.
If you was going to back it.
Oh yeah. All right. I see that. I see what you mean.
Yeah, I'm anticipating people backing. I mean, I know a couple of people have backed that a couple of times, but separately. So I think people are just waiting to get him drunk on stream, which is really funny. So yeah, this could be a whole new thing, But yeah, he's already been eyeing up. And the thing is, actually, because it's a tier that I haven't got to fulfill per se. Like, there's nothing stopping me, like, just actually giving him the cash now and go buy your beers and start doing your streams.
Right, exactly.
Like, nothing at all. But because otherwise, I think if I don't start giving this to him slowly, he could end up with alcohol poisoning.
Oh yeah, you don't want that.
Yeah, but what I think it was nice for him as well is that a lot of people, they know we come as a pair. Like, I don't think that's ever been a secret that we come as a pair. People were calling us husband and wife before we even got married. So we,
True, yeah.
But I think I'm very conscious that he was the one that brought me around to CG. And yet, like, I'm the one that's had this massive campaign, and he never, ever, he never ever feels like he's left out. He's always there supporting me. He's always there being the person that's, doing everything behind closed doors. So, like Billy's got Debbie and Ethan's got Andrew, and like Carl's got Monica, like Chubb has got Monica, and then you've got people that so many to name, like Shane's got Yanzi, and like the list goes on. The only difference with me and him is that he's the one that is doing what they do behind closed doors. He's the one that handles all that stuff, and I'm obviously but the book's both of ours. The campaign is both ours. So I think when he actually sees that he's got 23 beers, which is 23 people in CG, go, do you know what, dude? You're all right. I think that's what makes him really, really happy. Yeah, he is a hero of CG UK. He's 100%. He is the hero of CG UK.
So basically what you're saying is behind every good Charlie's, there's a stencil artist. Yeah.
100% that's exactly what I'm saying. And you know what? I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him, because I may not have even known CG existed if it wasn't for him showing me. Because I think he came into it because he watched your boy Zach video, and that's how. And then he found one of Cecil's videos, the one where he was in the basement, and I think his nieces wearing like purge masks were pretending to beat him up, and they were shouting, "This is MAGA country, bitch." I'm sure that was the one. And then I watched a drawn and quartered stream, and I was watching all these guys draw that I knew their names, like obviously Ethan and stuff. And I was like, but I don't think actually he used to go and draw. Was he on drawn and quartered? I know I've watched his drawing streams a million times over. But so yeah, that was kind of where it was. Like I said, I got very active on Twitter. And what was really funny is, like, in the beginning, I never forget this, it was comical, the amount of people that were like, "Oh, look, it's another misogynistic person over here, look." And I was like, yeah, I'm female, because they'd seen my name and not realize I was a girl. And I used to think it was hilarious. And, you know, I think I was in CG a good 6 months before anyone knew I was female, which to me was hilarious, really. And so when it came to work, you know, doing a title for this book, Charlie's London felt like the most natural thing to call it. It was the brand by that point, you know. Everybody knew me. People know my real name now, and they still call me Charlie's because they've known me for 3 years as that, and they just think it's really weird calling me my real name.
Yeah.
A great example of that, obviously, apart from Ethan, Mandy, right? I love Mandy to bits. I talk to Mandy all the time. We've streamed together and all this stuff. She knows my real name. She still just calls me Charlie. She's like, but you'll always be Charlie to me. It's like a nickname. So I'm like, well, that's fine.
I still call you Charlie's.
It is what it is. It is what it is. I don't mind, you know. And I remember someone in one of the chats once went, "Don't you think it's a bit weird that, like, she never uses her real name?" And people in the chat went, "She always reuses her real name. It's just people don't want to use it for her." So, you know, but that is kind of it. It is funny though, in the real world sometimes. Like, there's been times when Jan and I have been round to his mum's, and he's actually called me Charlie and gone, "Hang on, why am I calling you by your internet name in my mother's house?" I don't know, right?
That's pretty funny.
So yeah, that it is what it is. We have fun. What more can I say? It's a lot of fun.
That's cool. And you touched on the Graham Nolan color variant.
Yep.
Who did the colors on this again?
Gabe El Taib did the colors on this one. So that's what I'm saying. This is a pretty powerhouse cover. This is a pretty impressive force. I mean, you know,
industry vets.
I mean, Gabe as well. Like, Gabe, obviously, his own Truth, Justice, American Way has blown up. He's now, you know, he's working on the Rippaverse. It's pretty impressive that, you know, I've got these two amazing people on this book. I'm pretty proud of it. Nice.
After that is the Modern Times cover.
Yeah, Mickey's fantastic piece of work here. It was when he said, "I really want to do a cover," and then he came up with this. I was like, wow, because he went for quite an iconic film, but did it in a very different way. Oh. And I was totally blown away by it. This is, like I say, everyone that's worked on this campaign, this is what they've brought to Charlie's London. I've had very, very little input with covers and designs of that, because I'm really interested to see what Chaplin means to the people that are creating these images. Not my image. I want to know, because for me, that makes, I then look at all these different images and go, wow, this is what you think of when you think of Chaplin. Like, I find that really interesting. Like, he's so many different things for so many different people.
Next one is the Peter Gilmore circus cover.
Yes.
Where he's got monkeys all over him.
Exactly. He's totally and utterly covered in monkeys.
Book 1, second printing, and it's got the different cover. Peter Gilmore, Book 1, second edition.
Yep. we've actually done really well with that one. Like it says 3 claims, but the amount of people that bought Graham's cover and then bought this as an add-on, it's loads of people. And also the Big Top Circus box, which is like this campaign's version of the Kit and Caboodle. People have actually, they know that they're going to get that book in there. So they're backing that tier because they know they're literally getting everything.
Next up is the unpainted Charlie and Buster.
Yeah. So that's the one that people can literally just paint themselves. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. There's been, again, it's a shame it doesn't show you the add-ons, but there's been quite a few people have backed that one because I think they want to paint it themselves.
Right. Yeah, I can understand that. There's a huge community that is into tabletop RPGs who are really good at painting figurines and stuff. And this is made of resin, right?
It is, yeah.
All right, awesome. And then you got the Peter Gilmore double pack.
Yes. Again, Chaplin being attacked by animals. I think I might rename that tier. The Chaplin attack double pack, I think might have to call it something like that.
Chaplin attack double pack. Big Top Circus box is the equivalent of the Kit and Caboodle. All the loot plus all exclusive add-ons, stretch goals that are added throughout the 60 days. And let me see something here. Stretch goals added throughout the 60 days. Okay.
So it'll be anything that was added, any of the campaign tiers that were added within the first 60 days, they for the funding, they will be in there. Any stretch goals, as in anything anybody else gets, if it hits the 20k, 30k, 40k, whatever, they'll automatically always be included in that. But if there was any tiers that were added in the first 60 days, which there were, so for example, the Peter Gilmore second printing and the Gabe coloured version that was originally available as the double pack for the first 7 days, they are automatically in there without you having to go back and edit your box or edit your contribution or anything. You will automatically get it.
Nice. Excuse me. And the display box is really classy looking.
Yeah, I had a lot of people love that from the first one, so it was definitely backed by popular demand.
There's some cool boxes out there with artwork and stuff, but yeah, this is definitely something that you'll want to keep, not toss out.
I didn't. I saw the way a lot of those beautiful boxes have been designed. Like so many people have done incredible boxes like that. Yeah. But I just felt for the because of the subject matter of this book and the way that the book was designed, I felt that the matte box with the shiny vinyl, the simplicity of it was what actually worked with it. I don't think those boxes would have suited this campaign just by the nature of what the campaign is like.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, and in terms of simplicity, it's almost like the difference between color and black and white. So, I mean, color is great and everything, but there's a certain raw aspect of black and white that is appealing too.
Yep, I totally agree with that one. I think that's a fair thing to say.
And this is another amazing campaign. You knocked this out of the park. I'm really eager to get this. Let me see. Yeah, so if anyone has already backed this, thank you again for all your support. So greatly appreciated. Can't do it without you. Yeah. If you haven't considered getting more products from the campaign, since it's in demand right now, and get them as gifts, Christmas, birthday, what have you. Any occasion would do. And then if you haven't yet backed it, please consider backing it. So many great tiers to choose from. And regardless, back it once, back it twice, back it 3 times a lady. If you don't have the means to back the campaign, please consider sharing it all over your social media, and or consider contributing to the Yan reward.
Yeah, get him a beer.
Yeah, Yan could always use another beer.
He lives with me. He can use all the beers he can get.
All right. I wanted to give you the floor, Charlie's.
Okay.
And would you share with the world how you can be found on social media?
Of course. You can find me as Charlie's London on pretty much everything. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, obviously. You can reach out on all of those. You can message me even on the campaign if you wanted to. And you can also find me on YouTube under Charlie's London, where I'll be posting a lot more in the summer because I actually have time to do it, where I'm going to be doing some little history style videos talking about sort of historical content, historical accuracy in films, really interesting things that people might not know about. I'll also be throwing it open on the floor to people going, okay, give me something to research and I'll find you out 5 cool facts about it and I'll make a video. There'll also be obviously loads of Chaplin based stuff. I'll be streaming a lot more with my CG UK brothers and sisters. And you'll probably find me hanging out with Statistical Zero at one point because I'm always hanging out with Statistical Zero. And of course, the rabid communist, that is Commie Mark, who's releasing Krishna Kid soon, which you've got to check out. Really excited for that one. Yes, so that's where you'll find me.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm excited about Krishna Kid, and Commie Mark's a favorite of mine. He was there in the beginnings of my channel, and I attribute his support as helping me get to where I am today, because he's always been very supportive, and CG UK as a whole, and you, of course, Charlie's, have been so freaking awesome to me. And I love Stato. He's the best, and I love his art style. And like you said, there's kind of a simplicity to his design, his artwork, but it's enough to get the message across. And I'm a very big fan of cartooning, so it really appeals to me.
Yeah, I mean, I feel exactly the same way as you. There's the people that I stream with, I'm really good friends with. They've been around for me in CG from get-go, from word go. You, like I say, the CG UK boys, Mandy, Wyatt, you know, Peter, even though I class him as one of my CG UK boys, Stato, I mean, Optimus, Xavier, all these people have been, for me, when we had lockdown, that when we weren't seeing anybody, this was, you know, to be able to touch base with people that, you know, you didn't really know, but they were voices and they were conversations and they were, you know, time when you wasn't spent on your own. We spent so much time together, not only about comics, but about so much that I can honestly say that I don't think I would have got through lockdown as well as I did if it wasn't for having CG around, because we used to, CG UK, there are nights when we just used to have hangouts just to have chats, and it was 99.9% of the time wasn't even about comics.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we often say that we wish we recorded our hangouts because some of the funny stuff that we used to come out with, like you wouldn't, and so many in jokes that nobody get. I mean, I'll give you a great example of one. I don't know if you'll understand, but you'll appreciate the sentiment. So Peephole Circus is another one that I adore.
Oh, right? Yeah. So cool.
Just adore Peephole. He's off the chart. He's incredible. He does Yansplaining with Yan. He's another one that's very dear to my heart. But I don't know if you ever got it in America, but there was a cartoon called Fireman Sam, right? Very, very much like, I don't know if you got Postman Pat, but it was very much like, you know, a little kiddies thing. It was about a fireman that lived in Wales. which is where Peepul's from. And he lived in a place called Pontypandy, right? Now, Pontypandy is not a real place, but we used to wind Peepul up that he lives in Pontypandy because he's Welsh, right? So it's got to the point now where people will actually say that he lives in Pontypandy to people who don't know that Pontypandy is a made-up place, right? He'll say it on a street. He'll say it on a stream or just maybe on a chat somewhere. And if any CG UK guys are in the chat, we're all like giggling like Muttley out of like Wacky Racers because we all know it's an in-joke because this is not a place that exists, but it's become a CG UK thing. So I wouldn't have any of that without Comicsgate. So for that, I have to be thankful. So yeah, that's just another thing I thought I'd pass on and let you know.
There's something I've been really curious about. There was some talk that you guys in CG UK might schedule a physical get together where you meet in person.
Yeah,
has that happened?
No, because of COVID. I think there's some talk about something in September that we're meant to be trying to sort out. I have met. So I've met Carl of Mary Boys. We've met. Yeah, Jan and I met up with him. Oh God, it's got to be 2 years ago. Yeah, it was the January before COVID. So it was like it was 2 years, so nearly 3 years. January next year it will be. We met up with him. So this is how long we've been in CG. Like I think Jan's been in CG coming up to nearly 5 years. And I've been around in CG 3.5, nearly 4 years. Wow. So it's a pretty, I mean, yeah, it must be because it was about a year before COVID and now it's a year after COVID. So it is about 4 years. So God, time's gone crazy.
There's also, I recently heard in some live streams that there's talk again about for the Fans Fest, but being like fall 2023. I'm not sure if it's how serious it is, but it's something to think about as well.
Yeah, I mean, what if it goes ahead? We will 100%. We will 100% move heaven and earth to go. I mean, I know we really, really want to go to the States anyway. You know, there's people that I really, really, well, there's too many people to mention that I really, really want to meet. But I think the one that does stick out the top of my head that is someone that I'm 100%, when I see them, I'm going to give them the biggest cuddle ever is Billy Tucci. Billy's been there for me from the get-go. I have him and Debbie, I have a very strong bond with them. Cool. And I'm very, you know, there's a lot. We have a real kinship with like military history. And,
true.
You know, and there's stuff like that. And also I went to Belgium about nearly 3 months ago now. And I go and do a lot of stuff to do with the First World War over there. And he told me he had a relative that he only recently found out about that died in World War I. And I was able to find where he was buried. And I went there and I took a poppy wreath, which is the traditional thing that you take to the soldiers' ground. And I put it down and I filmed the cemetery and I took pictures for him of the grave as well. And I sent them all to him. And he said to me that he's never felt like so overwhelmed. Like he couldn't believe that somebody that he'd never met would actually do that for him. And I said to him, that's because you're my friend and you've done so much for me. And he was so blown over by it. He actually put it in an update for his She campaign. Like he actually wrote a thank you to me and Jan for doing it on his campaign page.
Cool.
So I was really, really humbled by that. So, and you know, that's why I say CG's more than comics to me. It's about so much more than comics. It's about people. And, you know, and as I said to him, I would do that again. for him. I'd do that for anybody else that asked me. They knew I was going over there and it was within distance. And the irony is that where his relative is buried is literally 20 minutes drive from where my great-grandfather is buried over there.
Oh, wow.
So they are not far in the scheme of conflict and, you know, and where they fought. They weren't far at all. So that fact alone was crazy. So yeah, another connection.
I wonder if they ever served together or
well, his relative was in one particular regiment.
Oh, all right.
And then my great-grandfather was, well, he was in another, but they were both infantry regiments, which is why they were based where they were based. So they could have. I mean, the thing is, his relative died in 1918, and my great-grandfather died in 1917.
Oh,
so
yeah, all right.
So they could have crossed paths earlier on, like 1916, whatever. It depended how long they were fighting, but yeah, another mystery we'll probably never know.
Yeah, true. Let me see. So to wrap things up, you can find me at my usual haunts. I'm on Twitch at WyzGyzEntertainment, all one word. I'm on Twitch at WyzGyz Twitches and on YouTube as WyzGyzEntertainment. Please be sure, if you're doing a search in YouTube, to search for WyzGyz as one word, WyzGyz. And I wanted to thank everyone for joining us in chat. You guys freaking rock. Thanks to everyone who joined us, who watches the replay. And thanks most especially to our very special guest, Charlize London.
My pleasure.
And thanks very much for coming. Appreciate you taking the time to swing by. And we shall see you on the next stream. Bye.
Bye.
Final guest that is the only person below White Holiday in the Comicsgate phone book. It's my favorite failed clone of Peter Sameti. The YouTube translation. How you doing, Conrad? Welcome to the show.